I have let some people go that I thought about afterwards. But like I said, sometimes it's a mistake sometimes. And there's some things that I wanted to do that I didn't do, now that I look back. But overall, like I said, my greatest achievements were what we've been doing the past 3.5 years. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's had its days. Believe me, it has its days. This bloke can tell you that too. But it's well worth it.
Mr. Baird, are you ready to get?
I'm good. We only got a limited amount of time. My greatest achievements is very simple. It's a collaboration of 15 years of law enforcement experience and being able to work with a lot of the police officers in Athens, in Madison County, Jackson County, Oglethorpe, and agencies statewide. My greatest accomplishment by itself is what I believe to be the reputation that I have in the police community. And I think that's the best judge of a man's character, is by asking the people who work with him and knowing what they think of him. And that's my proudest moment as a policeman. I've arrested drug dealers and drunks and rapists and robbers and murderers, but probably everybody on this stage has. But I think establishing my reputation and my character, my competence as a policeman is absolutely my single greatest achievement. And I don't always agree with Kip, but I'd say the mistakes are probably long and hard. I guess to begin with, the biggest mistake I've made as a law enforcement officer is thinking that everybody that should go to jail has to go to jail. And I had to grow up and learn some things and mature. When I started this job, I was 23 years old and a little bit high-strung. I've learned a lot over the years, and I intend to use that to make Madison County Sheriff's Department a better department.
Mr. White?
I would like to think my greatest achievement is 25 years with State Patrol, 7 months being in training, not being able to come home. That first month was okay, but the next 3 months I didn't come home at all. So that was pretty good in my experience. I guess my mistake would be when I first came in with an officer, I wanted to lock up the world. If you looked at me wrong, I wanted to lock you up. But I thought, that's what I was supposed to do, but that's wrong. You don't lock up everybody. Everybody don't have to go to jail to get the point across. And that's what I want the citizens to know in Madison County. You don't have to go to jail to prove a point. Thank you.
Well,
my greatest achievement would be when I was appointed police chief in Comer. I learned a lot in Comer. As far as management, I guess my biggest mistake was working the long hours and late shifts and neglecting my family when I should have been at home. But I have a wonderful family, and they understand the hardships that come with this job, and they support me through in my decisions and support me in what I love and enjoy, which is law enforcement.
Let's see, greatest achievement. 28 years I came home every night. Raised 2 kids. Neither one of them's ever been in any trouble. I got 0 investigations with post. If you ask any police officer who's been there a long time, that's saying something. I kept my nose clean. I stayed out of trouble. I done my job. I've locked up murderers, rapers, thieves, numerous drug dealers. And what makes me feel good, I got my tie cut in half one night at Clark County in front of the Night Owl Lounge by a guy named Bobby Cecil Leopard. I met Bobby over here at the pawn shop one day in Danielsville. I didn't even recognize him. This was 15 years later. And he said, I want to thank you for not shooting me. That made me feel good. I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, if I'd seen knife a little earlier, you wouldn't have been here. At any rate, mistakes, I've made mistakes. I've learned that you have to police by the heart sometimes and not the letter of the law.
Amen.
Just because kids especially, we gotta cut kids a little slack. Okay, I'd rather take a 16-year-old kid that gets stopped out here for going 5 or 10 miles an hour over the speed limit and write him a warning, call his parents, tell him he needs to slow down, send him home. If you write him a ticket, you just made an enemy from now on. Okay, you can cut him a little slack, help him out. He'll be there for you. I mean, he'll be a supporter. He'll be a supporter of law enforcement rather than somebody that just badmouths every police officer I've ever seen. Anyway, that's some of my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Okay, question number 3. Question number 3. Please talk about drug use in Madison County. Tell us the effects you've witnessed on local families and tell us how you will combat drugs in our community.
Man, glad you asked that one. That one actually hits home. Most of you that know me know I'm one of 5 boys. We didn't have any sisters. My little brother was born in 1983, and in 2004 he got strung out on methamphetamines and ended up killing himself. I have a personal story, and I guarantee you that everybody sitting in this room has a story, and they know somebody who's been affected by meth or by some other nasty drug. We need to address that. I agree with some of the folks that have already talked about enforcing drug laws, both by using the resources that we have and by implementing a man's unit and by working with other agencies, bringing them in so that we can all work on the same problem without adding anything more to our budget. We can include agencies in Jackson County, Madison County, Clark County. Everybody can work together, start addressing those drug issues without having to add any more persons to the payroll. We can also use federal grants. We can use state grants. We can use seizure monies to help fund that. But we need to make a huge dent in the drug trafficking, drug use. We also need to push education with drug use. I know we've done it for a long time, but I don't think we've done it to the extent that it needs to be done. I think we can do a lot better with that. I think education, knowledge is where you base all of your efforts, and that'll help deter it. It'll help everybody know what to look for, and help deter a lot of the other property crimes and thefts that we have. Easy for me to say. But drugs drive the other crimes that we have: burglaries, robberies, thefts of copper, and those sort of things. So drugs are one of the major crimes that needs to be addressed. It simply ties into all the other issues that we have, and we'll certainly do that when I'm the sheriff.
Mr. White.
Cutting back on drugs, let's see here. Well, I would say aggressive enforcement through the sheriff department and through the citizens and the students in school, talking to them, going out to the school, trying to relate to them, get them on a personal level with the sheriff department and the deputies, and me, if I make it to be sheriff, to go talk to them myself. I want somebody to say, okay, well, you didn't come and talk to me and try to find anything about my child, or my child has done this. I want to talk to the students, like I said, and the parents. The aggressive enforcement, you got to do something. And this stuff of putting them in jail and they beat you out the door, that don't work anymore. We need to find something else to do. We need to put them in there and let them stay for a while. So that's my thought on the drugs. Thank you.
Wow, drugs are a problem in our county. I've seen it when I worked in Comer. The meth is rampant in our county. We do have to take an aggressive stance on it. I see how it hurts the families. We do need to set up with other agencies. We need to do the man's unit. Just take charge in how we fight this epidemic that we have in our county. As far as in the schools, we started it.